All right, what's up, everybody? It's Abby here and
Jessica Washington,
Katrina, and Jocelyn.
all right, and we're here just to have a discussion. There's so many teachers abroad, and we wanted to share with you a couple of the things on why we decided to teach abroad, what made us actually make the steps. We'll take the jump to get it done, and then what steps we took to actually be here. So we're all currently teaching in the UAE. So the first question is, why did you want to teach abroad? Anybody can answer.
I know for me, living in the U.S., so came from a military background, family always traveled around and things like that. But then we moved to Virginia. We were pretty steady there. I moved to Baltimore. But you know how you just kind of get this feeling where you're just, I want to say you're bored with life, but you're just like, okay, I don't want to be here forever.
Wow.
I don't know what's next, but I know I'm not going to stay here. And so I just had that that uneasiness, like the restlessness of, I want to go somewhere else. And I was pretty open to anywhere. And so actually teaching in Baltimore was quite hard. And a lot of people told me before I decided to quit that I should teach abroad. So all of that combined together. And I was like, all right, let me go try teaching abroad, see what it's like. I get to travel a little bit of both worlds. And so, yeah.
Awesome. For me, I was coming up on a big birthday, like a 30th birthday, and I needed like a major change. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, I just need to do something different. I was working on your opposite in DC, in Southeast DC, to be specific, and it was difficult. It was hard, you know. Sometimes when you're working in a Title I rough environment, you say to yourself, there has to be something more than this.
Yeah.
So and then needing just a big change for my 30th because it was the fork in the road between, do I buy a house and just sit here and just work for the rest of my life, or do I take a big leap of faith and just try something different to say that I did it, or to experience something new before I dig in some roots into life. So that's why I went ahead and looked into it.
Yeah. Well, I feel pathetic because my story is a little different. And it's not in a bad way. I think when you like to talk about the house, I feel, and I know, I already know I'm older than probably everybody here. So there was, because being a child of the 80s, 90s, you live in single, you're supposed to hit these targets.
Right.
So when you grow up, you're supposed to hit these targets. You're supposed to have the house, you're supposed to have the husband, you're supposed to have the kids. And baby, I was missing targets. Left and right, just missing targets. And in hindsight, it's a good thing because I think I was so busy trying to do the checklist and fulfill what's supposed to make you happy.
Right.
And the year before I came, it was just a hard reality check. Nope, I was paycheck to paycheck every single time. Even if I had a promotion, it was still paycheck to paycheck. And then there's also this world, we're in the U.S. and it's hustle, hustle, hustle hard.
Right.
And it's everything's supposed to be a hustle. You're supposed to have 2 jobs. You're supposed to have 3 jobs. And I'm wore out. And then the reality was my mom is getting older. And what's the economy like? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the responsible one. And I can't take care of her. No, you need to take all your blood pressure medicine because you can't stay here. And so I just couldn't figure it out. I just honestly could not figure it out. And it was one, I wasn't promised this world. I was promised if I went to school, got my degrees, moved to the top, I was supposed to be able to breathe at the end of the day, and I wasn't breathing. And so it was just more so I want to say it was kind of I need a break, but it was more I need an answer. And I was ready to shut down life and just get someplace where I can get an answer. But a lot of that fueled me was I need to at least build an income for my family to survive. Where is it coming from? If I had to put my mom in a home, if I had to turn around and do this, how am I going to get that? And so just researching and starting to talk to people overseas, mine was more so of finding that extension of life and being able to do the things that I felt was promised to me and to be able to provide and then not lie. When you be sitting there, black girl magicking, and you taking your picture, and you were on a yacht or something, you was happy, and I would take that picture, but in the back of my mind, be like, you lying, you lying, you lying, suck in, breathe hard, tilt your angle, and it was just I felt for a while, even though I was happy, I was still faking happy.
Wow.
And then here, and I think that's hard because I feel free. It's the first time I have felt free, and so my move came a little bit different emotionally. I needed a way to just escape.
Wow, that's real.
Well, I feel inadequate.
First off, the age thing.
About
Yeah,
to say
because she's.
I'm 41.
Baby, I'm 42.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
See,
Like, you grown,
everybody
like,
thinks
it's
she's
a-
super young.
Yeah, it's just, but you come into things with a different mind because
Yeah,
you've
right.
lived so much, and it's
Yeah.
almost like, especially when you're older. I'm sorry, it's kind of like, well, I can't mess up no more now.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody know. Hey, so you just do it. You don't care. You have no F's to give at times.
Mm.
Like,
That's it, and that's exactly
Yeah.
what happened. Well, my situation is completely different from everybody's. I had no intentions of going overseas, doing any of this. Like, none of it popped into my head. I was at dinner with my friend. She was like, let's get out. I was going through a divorce at the time.
okay,
And she was like, let's get out, let's go to dinner. So I was like, okay. She was like, have you ever thought about teaching abroad? And I was like, no. And she was like, well, I have a friend. She's in Abu Dhabi. I said, where that at? Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
She said Dubai. I was like, okay. I've heard it before. Okay. So she was like, you should look into it. I have a friend of a friend that's over there, and she told me about, I guess her friend, now I think back, was living on Reem Island, and Reem Island has the
It's great.
you can order food, right? Everything's
Right.
there. There's a
Yes,
mall right
everything
there.
you need.
Every
So in my
place
head,
is
I was like,
different.
okay, that sounds okay. So I went home and I was like, you know what, Jocelyn, why not? Just kind of see, because I played basketball at university. I had an opportunity to go play overseas when I was done, but I was scared. So I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Nah, it's gonna be far away. Nope, let me not do that. So I feel like now it came back full circle.
Yeah.
Now's your time.
yeah,
Like, you're ready now.
yeah.
Okay, even though I hadn't planned on it, of doing anything. So that's the reason why I said, why not? Like you said, I'm like almost 40
Ooh, what
years
else?
old. Let's do it. What else I got going on?
So an additional question. So now that we say what even captured our attention, how long have you all been here thus far, like to date?
I'm a year and a half. I'm a year and a half.
Same.
Yeah.
4.5.
And then this is my 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. So possibly 3 years.
So we all been here for a little hot second.
Yes.
All right, cool. Question number 2. When did you decide you were going to pursue it? Like, what made you say, "Ooh, this is interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and this is the date that I'm gonna get things done."
So let me just roll
Yeah,
with what
go.
because
Go.
immediately when we talked about it, I went home, put some stuff online. I was like, okay. So I saw this Teach Away thing, and I was like, all right, let me just put in my application. I'm not looking to do this for real. So if I do it, loss. If I don't get it, I don't get it. If I do get it, I do get it. Whatever God has for me will be for me. And so everything just happened really quickly. Like, I got a call back and saying they want to set up an appointment, they would do this, get this turned in, So everything was happening where I couldn't even think about it because I'll think myself out of things. Like, wait a minute now, they said it's 100 and what degrees over there? And you say I'm a, but I didn't have any time to think, and I think that was good for me. And so it just happened.
I wanted your story. And my story did not happen that way. I think I came in, I don't want to say I came in with ego. Like, I had 17 years. I'm tight. I'm district level.
Right.
Like, I have credentials. And so I actually applied twice. I applied 4 years before I actually did it. And I applied through Teach Away. And I made it to the very last round and was shut down. And so, and I told a story. I was like, they racist. Like, they don't want people of color over there. Like, because nobody tells you anything.
Right.
And when I made it that far, I couldn't understand why. It was like a great interview, and nobody ever gave me an answer. So I was just like, okay, I'm opinionated. I went with my fro. I should have straightened it out. Whatever. And it's not for me. And then, like I said, I got hit with the hit, and I came out to Dubai for a vacation. And like, the funny story is I was going to the mosque, and I heard the voice saying, "You can do this." And remember, I was in a down space. And so it was kind of like, you can do this. So I was like, okay. And I didn't tell anybody this time. I did not tell anybody. So I went back to the Teach Away. And I was shut down like second interview. And I'm like, what's going on? And then once again, you hating, like, I'm looking at people like, how'd you get over there? Well, the thing is that I had some fortunate people in my side, and they were like, go with the private recruiter. What you don't realize until you get over here, so you don't know a lot of stuff, and I'll say that for the audience, until you're actually over here, is that my credentials are not the way that they read. I'm alternative certified. So because I went to school under broadcast journalism, but I came in under math teaching background, it never lined up. And out here, being very careful in saying, but your HR representatives do not do HR like we're used to HR. They don't know how to look at those credentials, so they follow a literal checklist. And so it was very different because I wasn't picked up for Dubai first. I was picked up for some other countries. And then just I think my mama put a prayer in because she's like, I don't know where my baby going. Shout out to mama. Put it someplace I can pronounce. But so the pursuit came late. But after I got out here, I was like, oh, nobody knows how to read those credentials. And I came in actually as a leader because my master's is in educational leadership. But my undergraduate is not. It's journalism.
Right.
So they never knew where to place me. And even now, I transferred jobs, and I was actually kicked back the first time after working here for a year because they went under my undergraduate degree and not my master's degree. So you really have to learn like the credentials and what people expect, because if you have an education background, if you're straight to the point, you can go through those traditional routes.
Right.
But if not, you're going to have to find a private recruiter or know someone, because you have to have someone who knows how to navigate those conversations.
I'm going to piggyback off you because it was actually a vacation that got me interested as well. So I came here a couple of years ago during the Thanksgiving break with one of my friends from high school. It was like I invited myself on the trip. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to Dubai over Thanksgiving. And I was like, man, you should have told me. I would have went with you. She said, well, the tickets are still such and such $. I said, I'll buy my ticket tonight. So I came out here, and actually her cousin was out here. She was somewhere out in the west, like in the way out there. So we didn't go there. We stayed like in Dubai, went to Abu Dhabi, things like that. But we had met up with my Spanish teacher from high school who was actually living out here working at the school next door.
Oh,
yeah. So I was like, actually, after I got here. So she was just like, you need to come over here. She was just like, I tossed caution to the wind back at home. She had been teaching overseas for a number of different years. I think she was like in South America, and then she came over here. She told me some of the benefits and the perks, and I was just like, what? She goes to me, do you know where I'm taking my son for Christmas? And I was like, where? We're going to Rwanda to track gorillas. And I was like, how?
Right.
People do that? Wait, what?
That's a thing. I love Dallas.
Right?
I was like, people go to Rwanda?
Yeah.
So with that, with some of the things that she was saying, I was like, wow. But it still took me a while. So carry on from Thanksgiving, go back home. I look into the process. January passes. It took me a full calendar year to actually really get the process together and started, because it took me forever to fill out the applications, from filling out the applications to everybody asking you why you want to do this, to trying to figure out, doing the whole online process, trying to reach out to different schools and they're saying nothing to you.
Yes.
What happened to me was a job fair. The job fair actually helped me. So I went through Search Associates, and it was a job fair that helped me. But this is also like a testimony as well, because what happened is I went to this job fair, and I was more comfortable coming to Dubai because I had visited. And I was like, I at least know what's going on over there. I had an interview with, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
No, not Saudi. I'm lying. Sudan.
Okay.
I had an interview with Sudan, Dakar, Africa, China, and then I didn't get any interest. Oh, I had an interview with Thailand, but nobody from Dubai had contacted me. So when you're at this job fair and you're walking around, you're seeing all the job postings. I see the school that I'm currently at. They had a PE position, but it was for swimming. I do not swim. It's not that I don't know how. I just don't like to swim. So I look at the thing and I was like, man, it's for swimming. So I was like, if I want to get over here, let me see. Because I was playing around with the thing like, should I just get overseas, teach English and do stuff like that? Or do I go content specific? So I was like, let me see what's up. So I literally go to the table. I was just like, hi. So if I was to teach swimming, what certification are you guys looking for? Like, do I need to go to the Red Cross, the Boys and Girls Club? Like, what do I need to do? And the person at the time was just like, I don't really know. So I was like, okay. And I walk away. Like, mistake number one. I literally just like, all right. He was like, wait. Can I get your resume? I'm like, sure. Give him my resume. I walk away again. Do it. Not thinking anything can change. I was like, they said swimming. I don't swim. Done deal. So I walk away. He emails me that evening, like, can I interview tomorrow? So I was like, okay. I go to the interview, like, I don't swim, but ain't nothing gonna change. Like, so I go to the interview, we're talking, he's asking me about stuff that I've done with my program, and I'm showing him like different little videos that I've done and blah, blah, blah. So he, gets out this piece of paper, like, okay, we come in at this many years, we give you a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm sitting here just like, what is happening right now? We need this much money. And he slides me this paper. I said, what is this? He said, a memorandum of understanding. Meaning, I was like, you're giving me a job? He's like, yeah. I said, for what though? Like, it said swimming. So he's like, for PE. I was like, so I don't have to swim? He was like, no. Literally what happened was, during that particular 24-hour period, a PE teacher wanted to go back into the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able, I think God just moved and adjusted in that 24-hour period where I was just doubting myself, like, I ain't trying to swim, it's fine. But it literally opened the door within that one evening for me to go ahead and secure a job at the job fair and, not go out of what I was supposed to do. I didn't have to, go and teach English or go and teach something else random just to get out of the country. So that was what the vacation, but what made me pursue it. And then like that whole backstory was just like during the pursuit, you get discouraged and stuff like that, but you never know what's working in the background.
I was just gonna say, and I'm sorry if I'm cutting in, but when you say it's like the whole guy, like if you honestly, because I'm listening to your story, I know you got a story, but if you honestly open up your mind, it will happen. And I'm not saying that because like even though I did mine, like there was a lot of God in there. A lot of God, a lot of mama, a lot of and you just going with, you just don't understand. But I don't want to say it's just about you wanting it. It's being open to hearing and understanding. Because once you start looking for outside, the world does not operate the way that the U.S. operates. And you don't understand that when you're there. So just like when you said, well, they had swimming coach. Well, as soon as you said that, I was like, they looking for PE. Because now that you're out here, I'll be like, oh, I know what they're talking about. And then if you talk about like the process for me, like I said, I'm 18 years in education. And I've worked on a district level of the leadership and all that stuff. But I was so willing to go that the very first position I was offered was 4th grade English teacher. Because in my mind, I was like, just get overseas and then you can figure it out. And then the second position was another 4th grade elementary position. And these are different countries. So I had finally said yes to that one country. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I remember I said I told nobody. So I finally was like, okay, I'm going to tell people. And when I said the country, they was like, ooh. Ooh. And I'm like, don't worry. I'm out. Pieces, deuce. I'm out the game. I'm for girls who go abroad. Like, dude, I'm out the game. And so, and then my mom was like, well, baby, like, I'll support you. But you could tell. And I was like, and the other piece for me was I knew I wasn't coming back. I knew that when I said it, like I was not coming back to the U.S. unless it was necessary. Like I was done. And so there's two things that happened. One is when I told my story, I had connects, and I don't know if anybody likes on Facebook when they first did theirs. I started that, and so I was making connections and friends. And one person turned around and said, "You're starting underneath your worth." And not only they say, "Oh, you started underneath your worth," they said, "And that's been half your problem. That you have always been working underneath your worth."
Is that person still in your life?
Yes.
Okay.
But I was like, well, you know how somebody check you? Like, I'm just trying to be humble and get out there. And they was like, you can do that, but you're under your worth. And so they actually texted me back 2 weeks, like, talk to this recruiter. And I emailed that recruiter. I still wasn't there. A month later, they came back with a leadership position in Dubai. And I was like, and I still was like, hey, because one of the reasons me going out there was to save money. I'm like, you ain't gonna save no money in Dubai? Like, I was really like, nah, I'm not feeling it. But as soon as I said Dubai, my mom and family was like, whoo. And then it made it easier to go overseas. Yeah. Because they were like, well, she got to go. At least she's going here. So they would stop fighting the overseas piece. But, and then, so I came in under leadership. And then currently now I'm an AP, vice principal, well, not either. So, and now I'm a vice principal. So now I'm in that leadership category. And so that's why I was like, you know what? If I had leaned on my own understanding, none of that would have made sense. Nothing I would have done. Like, I would have over-talked, over-thought, over-processed, analyzed, like a lot of stuff. And then when you get out here and you learn, because I'll tell people now, just take the position. Just take the position, wait 30 days, because stuff is going to shift. And you have to be flexible. You have to know how to move, but you don't know that from the outside. You know it once you come in. So for my whole, I think how you start the process, mine was more so like, I couldn't do it. I just had to say yes, and I had to be humble. And then I think I had to reevaluate who I was and what I can do.
Wow. So, yeah. Just kind of going off of that, when you talk about I feel like that's such a popular trend though, where we doubt ourselves, especially in the U.S. And I'm not sure where it comes from, like if it's a cultural thing or if it's women. I'm just like, but we always like, oh, we don't have the credentials, so we're not going to pursue this. Meanwhile, everybody else who's different than us will be completely inadequate and apply for the same job and know that they have maybe like a third of the credentials and still have that confidence, like, oh, I'm the best. But they're not. They won't have like that humbleness to them. But I can definitely relate to that. It's just like always that like second guessing, are you good enough? Or will I be able to compete to get on that international scale for teaching and things like that?
So I want to write a blog, and please forgive me, you can edit this out. Because what you just said, I was hit with that so hard. Like, why did it take so long for me to believe in yourself? And pay attention. We're taught to believe ourselves. When we be at the pageants, we be speaking and everything else. And then we also come down and be like, humble yourself. And then one of the things that I kind of recognize, and it's unjustly, is that Black women have always been raised to promote somebody else's vision. And I'm not just talking about in relationships, it's in the church, it's at your job. We are taught to become phenomenal teachers to promote the principle and that vision. Even if we talk about slavery days, we had to turn around and be great in the stables in the house for somebody else's vision. So we have always, don't overshadow, take care of daddy, make sure we do this, take care of the grandpa. We have always been taught this. And I don't say it in a negative way. I'm saying we have never truly realized until Black Girl Magic our power of our movement and the power of what we do. We have always been powerful, but we have always been powerful for other people. So when we turn around and talk about credentials and all that other stuff, yes, because we hold each other to, are you the best? We hold each other to that. And that's why we're like, hey, they said 4 years, I only have 5 years, let me do another 4 years. Now, when we talk about other cultures, they just be like, go.
It's also the fear of failure, too.
Yes, because we have too much on our back.
Exactly. It's like we feel like we don't have that room to fail, whereas I feel like others are raised, or they at least have a security blanket where they can jump out and do stuff. And if they fail, so they're able to take more risks. They're able to go and make that shot. My thing is, if I fail, where are we going to go? Like we don't have that security net. But you do have to face failure and accept it. So I think the thing is now with the trend, because all of a sudden now it's a trend like Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Magic. And I look at it and I was like, I don't think it's a trend. I think that we've stopped cheering for everybody else and started cheering for each other. And then we have promoted ourselves up to be like, no girl, you go. Because before we always believed in the vision, and now we tired. We are tired for asking for our place. We are tired of waiting and behind the spotlight, holding the spotlight while somebody else takes it. And then you never give us what you promised us. You promised that here, and we were going to be happy with those scraps. We would have been okay with that because we were still taking care of family. But it got to a situation, so that's why I look at even with the fame and all the stars, when Taji, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but all these people being promoted, it's us. It is the same moment of, I think, Miss World, when she won as Jamaica in Nigeria. It was like, yes, girl! It ain't gotta be me, but if it's my sister. And I think the big thing is that we're now starting to hear from each other and saying, wait a minute, okay, so I can put in this effort, I got your back. Because it's too much. We've been putting our hands, we put this world, we put the nation, we put the politics, we put it in everybody else's hand. And truthfully, we have given you all this time to get it right, and you still jacking it up. So you know what? It's the same thing like when Big Mama gave you the recipe the first time and you're supposed to make that peach cobbler and you get nervous and you're like, no, I got it. Baby, if you don't get it right, you ain't never going to cook it again. And I think that's the same mantra that we've come out with the world. Like, we have given you the recipe, the formula, everything. We are the highest degree people. We have the most people that have these credentials. And truthfully, when I see a Black woman in the classroom, even out here, you rock it. We rock it. They are not ready for the power that we bring in the classroom. So now we just have the permission to say, you know what? I'll congratulate myself. I'll cheer myself. I'll look in the mirror and know that my worth is here and we're following my vision. I ain't got to promote your vision no more because you don't have the expectation that I truly have of everything. Sorry, that was my moment.
How did you pursue?
Wow. So I decided, all right, so just the first thing I remember, the first step, had a bad day at work. I start with the same story. I remember that day. It was a really bad day at work. So I went home and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So I just went to Google and I was like, science teaching positions abroad. And Abu Dhabi came up first, and never heard of Abu Dhabi. I went to social media. I was like, who has heard of Abu Dhabi? And somebody was like, hey, my Sora's over there. She's in Abu Dhabi. Tagged her. So it happened to be close to the summertime. It was the summer before I moved over. So she came home to Baltimore to visit her family for the summer. And we went out and had lunch together. And I was asking her all these questions like, hey, do they have this? Do they have that? Of course, she was not in the Western region where we were placed, but she was in Aling, which was like the rural, but she was like, I mean, like the suburbs, but she's like, no, it has this, you know, it has a church, it has, like, you'll be fine, like, it's the same thing that you have here. So I was like, okay, cool. So I told my family, I told friends, everyone was not on board with coming over here. So I was like the first time of like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Should I still come? Because it was just, I think everyone else just had their fears as well. And so they were just speaking their fears rather than saying like, hey, what's the best for Katrina? But yeah, so that happened. Then I applied. I remember applying. That January, I had the interview. So I went to South Carolina for the interview. And I still remember the day I walked into this hotel in South Carolina because 80% of the room was Black women. And I was not expecting that. Was not same, right? So like these teach-away interviews are happening in the U.S. I'm like, wait a minute. Just my natural reaction was whenever you're about to do something big and you walk into a room, you're the only Black person. Right, exactly. Whereas I walked into this room, it was 80% Black women. I was like, wow, this is not what I expected. So we're all talking, chatting, different backgrounds. Go for the interview, found out maybe a couple weeks later, like, you're going to Abu Dhabi. And I think that's when it got real. I was actually at work at my desk when I got the email. So I was like 6 months ago, I was ready to quit. I was like, now I have this opportunity. So I told my principal, not coming back. I would say between January and August when I left was it felt pretty lonely. Like social media became, everyone is social, like Facebook. There was like all these Facebook groups with all these teachers. Those became your go-to people. That was your, what hair products do I need? What do I need for this? What they gave me everything. There was no one else could tell me. There was nowhere to look online for how to prepare to move over here. There was nothing. Facebook was your, I don't know, your Wikipedia, your whatever. It was Facebook. So I was on Facebook all the time between January. It's probably where like my social media addiction came from January all the way to August. And I would say just talking to a lot of teachers who were already here and those who are moving here, that just gave me that confidence to like stick through it. It's hard though. It's a lot of stuff people don't tell you. It's just like the financial part of moving here. Like if you, I didn't have a house, but those who had houses were like typing in a Facebook group, how do I keep my house? Should I sell it? What do I do with my car? I had a car. What do I do with that? And then it was, I lived in Baltimore, but I'm not from Baltimore. So it's like, how do I get all of my stuff to my parents' house, which is 4 hours away? But still, I had to pay rent until July in Baltimore. But I was leaving the first week of August. And it was just like, I have no idea how to move and do this. And I have to fly out from here. I have to be like, and so I just ended up giving away a lot of stuff because I couldn't sell it and get it done in time after I finished working. So yeah, within 3 weeks, sold everything, gave away most, packed everything into 2 bags, landed here. First week of August.
2 bags. I did not have 2 bags. I paid so much money.
You learn.
Oh my God.
You learn.
All right. So last question for this particular episode or whatever is, oh no, we already talked about.
Did you think about starting the process?
Yeah.
You segued into it on your answer.
Yeah.
And that's when I came in because I saw the question.
Oh, well, yeah.
So yeah,
Well then, y'all did good. Y'all did good. All right, so cool. Thank you all. If you watched or if you listened, we're gonna put this in video form on YouTube. We're gonna turn it into a podcast. Look for it on Spotify, hopefully on iTunes. And then also, what we need you all to do is comment below on different topics and subjects that you want to hear about. I'll be bringing in random people. We're gonna bring back same people, whatever. These people are awesome and very open in sharing their experiences and their journey. And they've been an inspiration to me as well as I continue to learn and put out content to help you, if you want to go abroad, to have the knowledge and the information that you need. But the first step is honestly just, like you said, believing in yourself. It's not about, oh, they might not like me out there. It's not about the color of your skin. It's not even about necessarily where your degree came from or anything. It's about saying, this is what I want to do and moving forward.
Don't take no for an answer. Do not take no.
Don't, yeah.
They will tell you no. Like, you can go, everything here is Do you have French fries? No, madam. Ask the next person. Do you have French fries? We have crisp. Okay, great. Yes, bring those.
Yes.
Like, it's just don't take no for an answer. It's not because of your degree. It's not you're qualified. You have it. It's literally a person being very literal and saying, we do not have. Yes, you do. Just do not take no for an answer. That goes for everything. When you get here, don't take no for an answer.
That's right. So thanks again, ladies. I'm going to link your social media information down there where I just pointed.
Oh,
yeah, that was me. That
Oh,
was
is
like,
it?
there we go. Okay.
And yeah, I hope to have y'all at. Well, I'm sitting on a table when y'all in chairs again. Or you're in the school. But yeah. All right, see y'all.